Okay, this is the level 2 fitness center based workout routine. Workout number 1. So for this workout, you're going to be using a cable machine. You can get a rope attachment and just this rectangular attachment. That would be great. A mat might be helpful for this, and you'll be using a pair of dumbbells as well for your curls. You may also want to use either a pull-up bar or a pull-down machine. You may also have an assisted pull-up machine, so any of those will help. And if you want to do banded pull-ups, you might want to use a band. So let's begin with the warm-up movements. The first one is going to be a behind the back stretch. So clasp the hands together behind your back, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and then just try to lift your hands up as much as you can. You can hinge at the hips as well to get into this stretch. Hold it. These are all 15 seconds. Next one is a hip hinge stretch. So here we're trying to keep a neutral spine, straight in the spine, but moving just at the hips. So I'm going to send the hips back, the shoulders come forward, then I have an angled torso, and I don't want to be rounding when I do this. I might even think about arching. I'm going to feel this stretch in the back of my legs here. Next, you're going to do a pec stretch. So here you can hold on to either the wall or your cable machine, grab onto it at about a little lower than shoulder width, and then turn away from that outstretched arm and feel the stretch across your pecs. And you'll do the other side as well for 15 seconds each. Next, you're going to do some lateral leg lifts. If you want to hold on to something to help your balance, you may do so, but if you can balance without it, that's great too. Standing upright, feel stable and grounded with your foot, heel down, ball of the foot, and toes are down, and then just lifting your hip out to the side. And you'll do 15 seconds worth of this each leg. And feeling it on the outside of your hip here. And make sure you're not opening your hip, you're just lifting your hip. Next, we're going to do some split stance holds. So you're going to step one foot forward, keeping the other foot back. And when you're in this position, there's a sweet spot. So you don't want to be too far, you don't want to be too narrow, you don't want to be too wide, and you don't want to be tight roped and lined up. There's a sweet spot, and you want to find that spot. Now, sink your hips, bend your knees, and you can even drop a little bit lower if you feel comfortable to, but you just want to be in a pain-free position. Doing both sides, and really important here to make sure that your knee is not caving in like this, and your heel is not lifting off the ground. You have to keep your front heel down, your back heel is up. And then the last warm-up one will be some pointers. So this is where I'm going to kneel down and I'm going to lift my opposite arm and leg so I can start with my left arm and my right leg. I'm going to reach as far as I can, kick the heel back, reach the fingers out, and then I'll sweep back in and I'll repeat this for 15 seconds. And I'm really squeezing my butt and flexing my shoulders and my upper back to make that motion happen and to really reach. And I want to stay neutral with the spine. I'm not arching and rounding. No, I'm just staying neutral. Okay, great. You're ready to move on next to the strength part. The first exercise will be some squats. So you can either do an assisted squat, a body weight squat, or a goblet squat. I'll show you all three. Assisted, I can hold on to a post, a pole, or anything that I can hold on to that's within my trunk, my torso. I'm going to be holding right here. And with all types of squats, the most important thing, the rules are you have to keep your heels down and you have to keep your knees from caving in and collapsing in like that. So the best way to do that is to think of it in 3 parts. First is standing tall. Second is hinging at the hip, just like we did in the warm-up. And then the third part is to bend the knees and then stand up from there. So I'll do a system first. This is really helpful to start with, to try to go to the depth. Try to go low while keeping the heels down. It might be that your ankles are inflexible, so you can't go down into this all the way. So we need to work on that. You'll start there. Next, we'll try to go with the hands free. By the way, your feet will be slightly wider than your hip width generally. So for a body weight squat, I'll shoot the hands down, send the hips back, and stand up from there. If I'm feeling confident with that, then I can move on to a goblet squat where I hold on to a weight and I add the weight, do the motion with the weight. I might also consider doing a barbell back squat. If I'm confident with this movement and I can do a barbell, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Do take note that for this one, generally it's going to be 6 repetitions, where all of the exercises to follow will be 8 repetitions. So generally you want to do a few less on your squats than you do for the other exercises. Okay, secondly, I'm going to do a band or a cable 1-arm chest press. So if I'm using my cable machine, I'll put this attachment on. I want it to be set slightly lower than my shoulders. Find an appropriate weight. And for this one, I'm going to come into a split stance. So if I'm pressing with my right arm, it's my right leg back, left leg forward. Now I'm going to get low, and I want to think about, okay, imagine that you're pushing a cart in a shopping center and you're just about to take this step up. Pause at that moment in time and then press from there. And notice that I'm not turning my shoulders at all. I'm just punching my elbow out straight. Okay, and then I'll do my other side. I'll show you from the side angle here. Get low, leaning slightly forward, and then just extending the elbow out straight. Next, you're going to be doing your machine, your pull down motion. So I'm first going to show you a pull down machine, and this is where you can start. Pretty simply, find an appropriate weight. Usually for any pull down motions, you can either do a wider overhand grip or a narrow or a neutral grip or a narrower underhand grip. Work all 3. They're all good to work. So I'll take, for this machine, I take a seat, I anchor my legs down if I need to. I start with full extension overhead, and then I pull it down to my shoulders, and then back up. And if I can, every time I want to end up here, so see how my arms are through my head? If I'm only working in this range of motion, then I'll never be able to go up to the pull-up bar for progress. And even if I'm not, let's just say I need to have this range of motion. I'm going to be more independent, athletic, and mobile if I can go through here, and I practice that in my weight training. Go through reps there. I can move on next if I happen to have one of these assisted pull-up machines. I can try this, okay? This one that I have, you pull this lever down. This weight is how much assistance you're getting. You step up, put your feet on, grab onto the bars, and then it gives you assistance here to get a pull-up. Notice that I'm going all the way down, and I'm bringing my chin above the bar at the top. Another way to do assisted pull-ups that you may have if you have access to one of these bands, you can loop your band up. on a pull-up bar, right in the middle. And I would actually want to have a step here, would be helpful for me to get my foot into it. But put one foot in, grab the bar, extend your legs out straight, and then this will give you assistance for your pull-up. If you have that available to you, it's a really good option. If you can do those repetitions without any assistance up on the bar, that's also an option for you. And I would say that you don't have to stick with that rep scheme. If you want to try to go for full pull-ups, you can just do 4 repetitions. Even if you're doing the assisted pull-ups, do less reps and try to work up from there. Okay. Next, you're going for your, oh, and by the way, another thing on your pull-ups, you need to be flexed strong through your body. Your legs are extended, hips are extended, abs are braced. Okay, but moving on. We have a cable or a band lateral walk. So I can set this at the same level below my shoulders, belly button level. And what I'm going to do is take a 90-degree turn from the point of attachment. I'm going to stick it in right by my belly button. I'm going to get into an athletic stance where I drop down low. I start with my feet together, and I'm going to keep my hips level as I take a step out together, back together, out together, back together. Yeah, the shoulders are staying level, the hips are back, I'm on the balls of my feet, and that's a really good move. And then I would do my other side. It works dynamic balance, the outside of your hips and your abdominals. Tricep extensions are next. So I can switch my attachment. I can go for my rope, stick that baby on there. Then I want to bring this up as high as I can for the tricep extension. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the rope. I'm going to stick my elbows right by my side and not let them leave my side as I just bend and extend the elbows. I'll tilt forward a little bit so I can get this full range of motion without running into my legs. And it's just bend and extend. Controlled motion. Don't let yourself come into a rounded and shrugged position. Keep your shoulders down. Keep those elbows tucked. Good night. And by the way, I didn't show you for the press, but if you had one of these bands, you can just bring them up over anything high, anything that's overhead, and I can do banded tricep extensions just the same. And then the last one will be dumbbell or cable arm curls, preferably dumbbells, I think. You just can be standing tall, and the same thing as the tricep extension, the elbows are going to stay fixed in space, and it's just pretty much the reverse motion. I really like to do them this way. There's a couple different ways to do curls, but you have them facing to start, and then they do a 180, and your palms are facing your shoulders at the top. Having control at the top and the bottom, minimizing the amount of momentum that you're getting from the rest of your body. The rest of your body just stays flexed. If I just had a cable machine, I could have the rope attachment on there, bring it down to the bottom, grab it with the thumbs up, lean back, and then get my curls right like this. That works too. All right, that's it for the strength exercises. Now let's go on to the cardio. You have the bicycle. The bicycles, we'll do some intervals. I'm just going to show you an abbreviated 30-second interval. Make sure that you get your seat set up appropriately. So by that I mean when your foot is at the bottom, you want to have a slight bend in your knee, not having to fully extend and reach with your toes, not getting cramped up here, but a nice amount of like a 15 to 25 degree bend of your knee at the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to go into my fast interval I'm just gonna pedal